The story I'm about to share with you today is my favorite one. The one I would have opened the very first season of the podcast with, had I realized sooner that no one remembered it anymore. It's like one of those secrets Paris keeps hidden in its cobblestone alleys. Though my stories are never meant to be faithful chronicles of reality, each one pulses with the blood of people I've known, of testimonies whispered over endless dinners, of confidences passed down from woman to woman, like a rosary of experiences that replicates itself infinitely. Lives that echo, from one acquaintance to another, from friend to relative. But this particular story is my favorite because it feels deeply mine. And besides, it goes beautifully with Valentine's Day. I wrote it back in my intern days in Paris, when the Seine carried away my doubts beneath its ancient bridges. At the time, I claimed to have dedicated it to two dear friends who shared a tiny studio near the Champs-Élysées, where they were silently fighting a battle between two ways of understanding love. She, Mexican, loved with that telluric force that defines our land, a love that rises from the gut, that spills from every pore. He, Spanish, loved with the measured restraint of his peninsular geography, with the moderation of someone who has learned to ration emotion. The story went on to win a Radio France award in 2003. But its true triumph was capturing that ancient war between two continents, that dance of misunderstandings only love can choreograph. The truth is that, like my friends, I too was navigating the complications of a multicultural romance. But mine was platonic, and lived at a distance. Our chance encounter had taken place 1.5 years earlier, during a party. He was just passing through, but we became hooked on one of those conversations that stretch until dawn. When he left, what began as a fleeting encounter turned into a digital ritual through Messenger, that virtual relic that now triggers nostalgic smiles. Words flowed like an overflowing river. I wrote for pleasure, with the urgency of someone who needs to breathe, while he, a budding filmmaker, crafted stories with the surgical precision of someone dissecting reality to turn it into script. He dissected my texts with the meticulousness of a Swiss watchmaker, celebrating my narrative recklessness. I delighted in his ability to turn every scene into a perfect cinematic frame. Our laptops became portals: Paris, San Vicente de la Barquera, Madrid, cities we visited without leaving our desks, creating stories within stories. When I sent him the first draft of this story, the blinking cursor became my executioner. Minutes waiting turned into hours. Did you like it? I wrote, missing a tiny accent mark, the kind that changes, you liked the story, into, you like me. He, ever the grammarian, replied like lightning in 2 acts, first the sky. You forgot an accent, but either way, the answer is yes. Then the thunder. He thought the story was too intimate, dangerously close. That confession, a mix of fear and praise, became the catalyst the story needed. Between the emotional tides of our virtual romance and the chronicles of my friends' highs and lows, this story was born, perhaps the only one in my repertoire that doesn't end in death.
Catechizing myself in your old world. I am the enigma, the cenote's guard. My blood, Olmec warrior blood intertwined with Toltec fierceness and Mexica pride, runs through veins that betray my ancestry. My blood smells of maize, my skin of cacao, my mouth of maguey. My eyes, heirs to sacred jade, hold the 1,000-year song of the Sunsuntli, the Mexican mockingbird, whose Nahuatl name means bird of 400 voices. And yet my skin, damned genetic treason, reflects the whiteness of those who slaughtered my ancestors. Are your parents Spanish? The question rises again, like a rusted dagger. No, they're Mexican. But your grandparents? Or their parents? No, they're Mexican too, I repeat, while Toque, the revered mother goddess of the Mexica, watches my inner struggle from the mirror of time. My blood boils, but I keep my voice steady. Spanish me? If my father carries an Olmec head upon his shoulders as a banner of war, and my mother dances La Llorona with the very soul of Veracruz in her feet. If the ancestors of my ancestors were born where the stones still whisper tales of greatness, Tenochtitlan, El Tajin, Aztlan. If my teeth were forged biting tortillas fresh off the comal, and my taste buds knew amaranto long before sugar. And yet here you are, old world, infiltrated in the child's en nogada I love so much. Your Castilian nuts, your amber sherry, your treacherous almonds, your red meat as red as the blood spilled during the conquest. This time, conquest feels so simple. And truth is, I never knew how to resist you. Now I realize you've been in my blood all along, even when I tried so hard to deny it. History repeated itself that night. Beneath artificial lights, you discovered me as Columbus stumbled upon America. Not seeking, not expecting, with the arrogance of one who believes the world is his to claim. America, so urgent, across the ocean. America, fertile, feminine, seducing you on the horizon. You thought that with your peninsular accent and European manners you could conquer me in one night of drinks and loud music. You didn't know that Mexican women inherit from our grandmothers the art of playing with our gaze, and of closing our eyes when the conqueror comes too close. I discovered you as Columbus discovered America, not seeking, not expecting. You leaned in to kiss me with the haste of a man who takes without asking, and though my body recoiled at your advance, something in your respectful persistence, so unlike your ancestors, made me let you stay. You didn't get the kiss you wanted, but you took something far more valuable, my story. I wanted you ephemeral, gone with the dawn, but I let you remain, even knowing my memory was already haunted by ghosts. I lost the peace of certainty and gained the sweet torture of doubt. Spaniards move fast, I said, rejecting the kiss, while time unfolded between the present of my voice and the echoes of 5 centuries of history. And you, modern conquistador, stepped back with a smile that disarmed more than 1,000 muskets. You learned quickly. The mouth that failed in direct assault turned into a weapon of verbal seduction. And I, who thought myself immune to the charms of the old world, fell to your strategy. You were the incarnation of my ancestral gods made flesh, Quetzalcoatl with eyes of Mediterranean Sea, Huitzilopochtli dressed in modern Madrid. Spanish, you just had to be. I told myself, even as I succumbed to that accent I'd always claimed to hate, that hiss of your S, the cut of your Z and C like scars. History mocked me. The Indian who swore never to surrender now gazed, entranced, at your pale skin, your dark forest of brows, your chest, where dark hair conquered stretches of white flesh like an ancient battle reenacted in living skin. I became a willing Malinche, accomplice to my own conquest. My brown hands tore down the walls of my inner Tenochtitlan to build castles of air with Spanish architecture. You seduced me with a new language that needed no words. You made me fall in love simply by existing, timeless, measureless, without realizing that every minute beside you was a small betrayal of my ancestors. I became a willing Malinche, accomplice to my own conquest. My Indian hands tore down the walls of my inner Tenochtitlan to build castles of air with Spanish architecture. You seduced me with a new language that needed no words. You made me fall in love simply by existing, timeless, unmeasured. Without noticing, I made you necessary. You know how to kiss my body with a glance, a gesture, a phrase. It seems the moon never stops kissing your feet, and I'll never stop being jealous of the moon you whisper, and your words are marigold flowers adorning the altar of this impossible love. I kiss you as if each kiss could erase 500 years of history, as if our lips weren't heirs to clashing worlds. You fill the empty spaces in me as if you'd always been there, as if Quetzalcoatl and the Christian God had conspired our union before time began to count the distance between our worlds. Your lips travel down my neck as Cortez once crossed the Aztec lands, but this time, conquest is sweet, consented. Every inch of explored skin is a new territory where our differences dissolve, where history rewrites itself, not with blood but with caresses. With you, nothing is ordinary, everything is extraordinary. Do you say that, or think it? I'm saying it. And between kisses and words, I woke one morning to find the nahuatl gone from my tongue. The Templo Mayor lay buried not only under the earth, but beneath my indifference. History repeats itself like a macabre dance, another Malinche, this time from the 20th century, surrendering not an empire but her own soul. The people of the old world remain blind, deaf to time's warnings, while death waits patiently nearby. You installed yourself in my life like smallpox on the skin of my ancestors, without warning, without cure. One day, you appeared with your backpack, colonizing my closet with your t-shirts, invading my kitchen with your bread and jamon, those pinchos and bocatas that slowly replaced my tortillas and salsas. You claimed my living room like the conquistadors claimed the town squares, parading half-naked like a feudal lord. The couch became your throne, and I, submissive, settled for resting my head on your shoulder, the new pillar of my desecrated temple. The pillows ended up exiled like my ancient gods, your chest became my altar, your arms my sacred refuge. I had already built you New Spain, and you arrived as if it had always been meant that way. One day I opened my eyes and truly believed that before you, there had been nothing but desert in these lands. I'm going back to Madrid, you said, dropping the phrase like a cigarette butt, without drama, without gesture, without glory. A mediocre actor in a monologue that to you meant nothing, but to me, it was the fall of another empire. You lift me to the peak of the cliff to show me the majesty of your dominion, your new world. And I, still believing you my Quetzalcoatl, my feathered serpent god, deity of wisdom and wind, feel chosen to share the vastness of your story. Stupid. 1,000 times stupid. You push me off the cliff to leave me buried once again among mortals. Branded Malinche, that Indian woman who stood between two worlds, interpreter for Cortés, both revered and condemn, traitor, outcast. Don't take it too seriously, you add, and your words fall like stones over the ruins of my inner Tenochtitlan. Which part shouldn't I take seriously? Your kisses that built new temples on my skin. Your words that rewrote my cosmogony. The way every gesture of yours became a ritual. Which part? Tell me. Your existence, your breath, the lie of believing you were mine? Or perhaps the fact that, like your ancestors, you came already knowing you'd leave? They're just moments, you say. And in the night silence we share a bed but inhabit different worlds. You sleep with the peace of the conquerors while I drown in an insomnia 5 centuries long, my tears as irrelevant as those of the women who once watched the caravels sail away. Nothing ever really passes through your mind, while a single sentence from you shatters mine. Life doesn't happen to you, perhaps because you've been taught to believe in eternity. I, on the other hand, fear that my 5th sun will end, I dread new beginnings. And ironically, religion was our first topic that night. I fear the new conquest will be just as bloody, that your pain will carve itself into my entrails. You and I don't speak the same language, that's why we'll never truly understand each other. There are no translators in the middle of a bed, when silence becomes a wall. History repeats itself with the precision of a watchmaker. The Spaniards set sail with their ships full of our gold and silver, our cacao and coffee, our gods crushed into dust beneath their boots. They left smallpox, bastard children, broken hearts, and a faith imposed by the sword. They left one morning without looking back, knowing they were returning home. And so you leave too, leaving the bed empty as a looted temple, my mind lost in a labyrinth of what-ifs, my womb still warm with your seed that, like that of your ancestors, will never take root in this land. You return to your Madrid where I never existed, where my absence will be just another trophy in your collection of overseas conquests. And then, like a pebble thrown into the pond of routine, you invite me to conquer Spain. You say it so naturally, unaware of the weight of words. No one ever taught you to gesture, to modulate your phrases. Your heart is mute, your eyes blind. And I'm like Hwh na lar Loh, the Spanish queen, driven by passion and obsession, whose love and grief became legend, forever shouting what my heart processes, letting my throat always defeat my reason. Bloody hell, watch the frying pan, your omelet's burning, mate. I'll pop to the shops, we're out of cacao and cereal. Fancy coming with me to Madrid? My brain translates frantically. God damn it, watch the pan, your eggs are burning, girl. I'll go do the grocery shopping, we're out of choco milk and corn flakes. Want to come with me to Madrid? Want me to change your life? Want to be part of my world? Want me to love you? I went mute. You ate, finished, stood up as if nothing was happening. To you, it's that simple, to talk to me as if we spoke the same tongue. You don't know that my Spanish is charged with meaning, that every word, every letter carries the weight of a new Spain, a hybrid. Neither you nor your people ever understood that. Your concepts are squared off, a perfect triangle, your holy trinity. My thoughts move like serpents, curved, coiling, shifting, like my feathered serpent god forever in mutation. And yet your only answer never changes. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, when you're the one devouring my existence. You chew me to pieces and then, without a thought, go have dessert somewhere else. I walk you to the airport without questions. I knew this ending from the start. We belong to different worlds, times, and spaces that don't align. Our tongues met through kisses, but kisses don't nourish. You were dying of starvation while feeding my soul. I won't speak to you in Spanish. I'll think in otoh me in mha in puarih pecha. I am toto nhk, and my heart is vast. Today I take it proudly out of my chest, so that you, my Quetzalcoatl, may carry it between your teeth. And heartless, brain in pieces, I can't bring myself to utter a single one of the 1,000 questions circling my mind, a single phrase from the million I want to scream. Don't go. Don't leave me. Take me with you. Stay. I want to leave my land. I want to know yours. I want you to catechize me. I want you to learn Nahuatl. I want you to eat mole whites. I want you here. I want you undone. I want you to love me. I love you. Nothing comes out, not even a syllable. I watch you go. I pretend not to care. I turn around, stay there behind the glass, watching your plane take off. And I cry. Finally alone, I dare to reveal what I am. For the first time, I accept myself. I am mestiza. And I need my Spanish half to be whole. Then suddenly, you come back. You haven't left. You stayed. You're walking toward me, and I no longer fear that you'll see me vulnerable. I've removed the mask. I accept that I need you, even if I don't know if you're coming or going, taking me or staying. What the hell, girl, what's wrong? You ask, brushing away my tears. I got scared, being all alone in this big city. I didn't leave you alone. I never would. I just hid for a bit, so you'd long for me. I don't know how to long for someone. But God, how I missed you.
Copyright 2025. Al toque de la una. Todos los derechos reservados. El contenido de este podcast, incluyendo audio, guiones y cualquier material adicional, está protegido por leyes de propiedad intelectual. No se permite la reproducción, distribución o modificación de este contenido sin el permiso expreso de Al toque de la una. Gracias por respetar nuestro trabajo y por escucharnos. Nos vemos en el próximo episodio.